Today's consciousness, today's consciousness, today's consciousness. What happened and how can we change it? From the pristine position that we held in today's consciousness, here's a new show just for you every Tuesday called Today's Consciousness. Be there and enjoy all the great special guest stars that will be passing through on a new show called Today's Consciousness. Today's Consciousness. Today's Consciousness. Are you ready to address all the things that are going on? And how can we heal today's consciousness? Today's consciousness. Today's consciousness. Right here on KSP TV. Today's Consciousness. What happened and how can we change it? Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. Woo. I was born by the river in a little tent for high. Just like the river I've been running since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Welcome back to today's Consciousness in the Conscious Community, our regular Tuesday night at 8 p.m. At 8 p.m., we're going to have our special guest coming up right here on today's Consciousness in the Conscious Community. What happened and how can we change it and heal it? You're more than welcome to come in, call in also at 718-210-8853. We're only going to have this beautiful lady on for an hour because she has things she got to do. And this beautiful lady will be Tassili will be up here at 8 o'clock. Let's give that a round of applause. All I ask you beautiful people to do is respect my guests and please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell as you see here on the bottom, share and thumb up the video to build the algorithm. So every time I come on, you'll be right here showing love. Also spread love through PayPal, .me/the numeral Veda or Cash App, of course, $ inspired by team. Or you can also use my Venmo, my other PayPal, or you could do super chat, super sticker, and all of that. Do remember that on June the 28th, we will be climbing up the mountain with Brother Rich. That's right, June 28th, we will be climbing up the mountain with Brother Rich. That's Saturday. So let's make sure we clarify that it's going to be Saturday, June the 25th. We'll be going up the mountain with Brother Rich, starting at sunrise. So June the 25th, that's where we're going to be at. Not June the 25th, I'm sorry, June the 28th. Sorry, that's June the 28th. Pardon me. That's June 28th. Let me clarify that and verify that. June the 28th, we will be going, climbing up the Stone Mountain with Brother Rich. So make sure y'all come on out. It's going to be a 363 Black Magic special. That's going to be a Black Magic special, I'm telling you. Also, make sure y'all support Tassili. Of course, her links are also in the chat also, and I'll be posting it in the chat on and off throughout the program as we get ready to have her on. We're waiting for her to come on right now. And as we're waiting for her to come on, of course, let me share all of this. Big up to my moderator in the building. Color Curiosity is in the building. Make sure you show her love. Also, she's in the building right there. You can see her. So if you get out of hand, she has the permission to delete anybody that wants to troll. She has that permission. All right. And want to remind all of you that on Thursday, I will be on this show on Thursday. I will be with the one, the only legendary Abundance Child, live and direct. I will be with her on this particular show on Thursday at WJVSradio.com. That's WJVSradio.com. And of course, yes, me and her were business partners at one time. And so we're going to talk about it, be about it. And we're going to stop playing and bring it all into fruition within that hour. Then next week, Tuesday, we have our brother Sharif Anail Bey. We're still waiting for our sister to come up. She does have the link, so I'm waiting for her to come up. And hopefully she can make it up in a few seconds. I'm still trying to make sure she gets it up. If anything, I will definitely send another link to her phone. If you are into martial arts, like I've been into martial arts since I was young, we will be, my brothers and sisters will be in New York, in Queens, and Flushing, New York, on the 14th and the 15th at the Sheraton LaGuardia East Hotel. It's going to be a banquet, and it's going to be a martial arts demo happening also. So enough respect to all my brothers that are into the martial arts, Sanukas, Ryu, Jiu-Jitsu, Ninjutsu, all of that stuff. We're going to be Shotokan. We're going to be Kumote. We're going to be doing all that we got to do to make it happen for you. So big up to the person that's hosting that, and his name is Khalik Hassan, Soke Hassan Khalik. And remember, in New York, we'll be there on June 22nd. So make sure you contact Brother Shabazz. Brother Shabazz, if you want to be in the building at the LIU, you can be in the building at the LIU. Contact his number is 347-683-8122, or scan the QR code right there. Doors open, I think, around 1 o'clock. We should start about 1:30. And big up to Nina Dunham. Nina Dunham's publication, 52 Mirrors. Oh, yeah. And Queen's Code. Make sure you go to 11 University. Go to 11university.com or hit her up for her services. That beautiful woman right there is Aquarius Maximus' mother. So you see where Aquarius Maxima get her beauty from. Make sure y'all support that. All right. And we're still waiting for Tassili to show up. I don't know where she's at yet, but I know she got the links, even by her text. I texted to her also. And I want to shout out all my books, available on Amazon. Got to shout out all my books. And if you do book a session with me, you will get free ebooks. Everybody will get one free ebook with everybody that books, with either a 10-minute session, a 15-minute session, a 30-minute session, or a 60-minute session. You will get one of my free ebooks, my new ebooks called Numerovational Spiritual Lessons. I have 3 volumes. I'm going to have 10 volumes coming out very soon to help you along your spiritual journey from not just my perspective, from a numerical perspective, from just something to keep you on path. Those 3 books right there. And if you don't want to book a session, you can get the book separately. $5.55 is one of the books, $7.99 is another book, and $9.99. Every one of those books have a homework assignment added to it, so you can get the homework assignments going. All you have to do is write or pay attention to what you're doing when it comes to those homework assignments. And all my books are on Amazon. My regular books are on Amazon, or you go to my Linktree/King Simon the Numerator. We're still waiting for Tassili Ma'at to show up. Lloyd Strayhorn, make sure you go to Lloyd-Strayhorn.com or call him at that 1-800 number. And you can also download Lloyd's Strayhorn's app, a *8. That's a *8. And remember, support Color Curiosity, one of our moderators, doing what she got to do to make it happen. And big up to Adara Moselle. She was on Brother Richard's show yesterday. Free consultation with Adara. She gives you that free consultation to see where you're at. And so does Color Curiosity. She gives you that free consultation to see where you're at also. Big up to Dr. Shakira Moore, iridologist, teacher, and spiritual guide. If you want her, pre-order her book, The Iris Papers. Make sure you go to Linktree/Holistica Healer. And also, enough respect to my son that's doing great work in the music business. Big up to Rainwater in the building. I see Rainwater in the building. And I see Holly Hemmett in the building. Also on Instagram, I see y'all in the building. I see Planter Power in the building. Love Some You in the building. Dr. Alric Brooks in the building. Empress Sarah in the building. lovely, I said, lovely girl in the building, Zen in the building, Ms. in the building, I am in the building, Twyla in the building, Leaky in the building, Jones in the building, everybody on Instagram and everybody on Facebook. Thank y'all very much for tuning in and locking in always. Again, we're still waiting for Tassili Ma'at to come in. I don't know what's going on. That is a Sagittarius woman. I do have to remember that. Big up to all those Sages out there. Big up to all those Sages out there. And big up to all of you out there. I hope that y'all enjoyed the lesson earlier. The lesson went straight to my membership. It's called Would You Rather the Bitter Pill or the Sweet Pill? It went straight to my membership. I broke down the numbers and everything on it. And remember, almost every other morning, I break down the numbers because we like to decode the numbers to guide you, not just decode numbers to deal with society and all of that and celebrities and all that, but it's really about the words that we say out of our mouth, the things that we have to do to maintain a stable footing in a mentally draining society. At least America is. I don't know about everywhere else. And I think it's important that we learn to recognize the different types of things that we need to do on a higher level. And that's why I produced these spiritual lessons book, volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3. I will be producing 10 volumes before this year is out of very simple but direct to the point volumes. And they always come with applicable spiritual assignments in every one of the books. All right. So it's very important for you to, I've been on my journey for a long time. Many of you are just starting on your journey. Many of you have been on for a short time. Many of you might still considering the path that you're taking. You might still be in religion. And it's all right to be in religion. Just make sure that you balance it out with some of the deeper esoteric conversations around religion, because every one of the 3 major religions have a deeper esoteric system behind it, if you're willing to tap in. Some people just want to stay where they are and that's it. I just love my Jesus. Only Jesus. Just make sure you got the right Jesus in front of you now. You got to go back into time before they change the whole look. Some of y'all just want y'all Muhammad. Now, you know, in Islam, they're not allowed to promote pictures or pictorials of Muhammad. But they're saying in history, there's certain types of Muhammad that might be considered melanated, might be considered white. I don't know. It is what it is. Some people just love their Moses. I love my Moses. Oh, everybody of the 5 books. Love your Moses. But, you know, according to the region that Moses was, they definitely was melanated, according to the region. So love your Moses, love your Muhammad, love your Jesus, love you. Because every one of those great prophets or prophetess of the Bible or the Quran or any spiritual system, they are a higher representation of you and what you could strive to be. And that's why spiritual lessons are very important. And that's why I produce these ebooks, not solid books, ebooks called spiritual lessons, numerovational spiritual lessons, homework assignments, King Simon's spiritual lessons. And that's why I produce these books, to help give you some guidance in a way that I feel is important, because I needed it at my time. A lot of stuff I've been through, a lot of the lessons that you're going to read from my books, I've been through it. I've been doing it since I was 14. And it's kept me alive until now. You know what I'm saying? It's kept me alive and well right here on this realm, understanding my ups and downs, my faults, and, you know, being quite transparent with the lessons. I just like to help people. And being born under the misnomer sign Aquarius, I like to help people. That's a humanitarian sign. Sometimes I could be rigid. Sometimes I could be tough. I'm most tough and hard on myself than everybody around me. But more times I'm very hard and rough on myself. And sometimes you have to put yourself to some regiment like a martial artist. So I got to thank some of my martial arts teachers that introduced me to that rigid workout and that self-motivated workout, to the point that I could just listen to a song and I'll just get into a workout for a whole hour, or 2 hours, or 3 hours, or listen to one of my teachers online on a YouTube channel, and what happens, my mind go back to the time when we used to be in the dojo for 3 or 4 hours just working out till all of our gis or our clothing was sweated out, doing push-ups and finger push-ups and knuckle push-ups and wrist push-ups and elbow push-ups and all kinds of different the Iron Man training. And I mean, these are spiritual lessons for everyone. I still train on trees and on hard tires and all that kind of stuff, but I always lubricate my hands just to keep it soft still, no matter what. You know, you got to keep the balance. You got to keep the healing aspect, but also you got to keep the other aspect also, just in case. All right, Tassili just texted me and said she apologies again. The Sagittarian woman. It is what it is. I love it. Of course, again, you can, one of my main books that's very important, New Motivation for Mental Stability. Very important book, very important part of the puzzle. And I'm thinking about, not thinking, I am going to write a book fully on the next level of new motivation. And it's not going to say for mental stability. It's just what it means and what it means to motivate people with numbers and how important it is to motivate people with numbers. And thanks to people like Dr. B, y'all see, I always quote this thing from Dr. B. I forgive myself, my family, and others for imperfection, and I'm thankful for my life. These are things that I remember and recall. So I see Mother Tassili in the back. I'm going to bring her up as I get ready to shout her out in the best way. First and foremost, family, this beautiful sister, please, I want all of y'all to like. I want every one of y'all right now to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll be alerted on when I come up, because this particular platform is not about the drama. It's about healing, helping, how we can change it. And remember, my channel is called King Simon Presents Only Quality People. And then I like to do my ministry of new motivation, where new motivation only means motivating you with your numbers. That's it. Keep it simple. All right. She fell off. I don't know what happened to her. I do see she fell off. I don't know what's going on, but I'm waiting for her again. She just fell from the back screen there. She fell from the backstage. So waiting for her again. But again, please like, subscribe. Hey, you new people, what's up? It's your brother King Simon. And remember, I'm not calling myself king because of some royal illusion that they passed down through generation. I'm calling myself king, or I was called king because of the root word of the word king means kin, kith and kin. I am a third generational promoter from my father and people before me. So my cousin, my father, I'm a third generation promoter. So I created, my company was called King Simon. I used to spell it K-I-N with a capital G at the end. All right. So, okay, she came back. All right. Okay. I didn't want to put nothing on and do anything without her coming back. So before we bring her on right now, I want to make sure we shout out Queen Mother Nana Tassili Mata Atma Ma'at, affectionately known as Mama Tassili, owner and operator of the world famous raw vegan restaurant Tassili Raw Reality, existence since 2008, located in the historic West End community of the Southwest Atlanta, as a master oracle of the one, her spiritual readings downloaded directly from the Akasha records. She's born in Texas, raised in San Diego, reborn in Atlanta when she moved here back in the 80s. Kundalini Yoga instructor, raw food chef, the author of Uncooked Book and Quick Raw Food Recipes on the Go, and The Journey of Self-Fullness, a lunar cycle journal and autobiography. Let's welcome back on our stage right here on today's Consciousness in the Conscious Community, the one, only Tassili in the building. How you doing, Tassili?
Greetings, peace and love, family. I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. Thank you for
Yes,
having me.
yes. Big up to your king man, Adam. We'll definitely get him on because I got to get his book. He said he'll hold me one, so we're gonna make it happen.
Absolutely. His book is so inspiring.
You know, on the line online, they say it's selling for $200 something. How did that happen?
Well, I don't know about the 200. I know it's 100, but
It went up to 200. Somebody must be reselling it. $200 or something dollars.
I think so. Yeah, I
Damn.
don't know about that. I don't know about him raising it.
Girl, I went to the
I have
link.
to
I seen
ask him.
200. I went to the link and I seen 200
You
something
saw
dollars.
200?
Girl, if I go to the link right now,
Wow.
I could look at the link right now.
Well, I definitely asked him about it. I didn't know anything about 200 at
Yeah,
all.
yeah, I know you didn't know because but I understand sometimes, but he just got the book out. That's why I'm like $200. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's
This is not what this is
that's
not what we do here.
interesting. Right. And when he first released it, it was on sale for um 50.
Yes, it was on.
And then, if you bought it from him right away, and then he did go on and honor the price that was listed
It says $230.
on Amazon.
It says $230
Wow.
on Amazon. So I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
don't know if I don't know either. But what I can say is that if it is, and you said it, then all I can do is endorse it and say it's worth it. Um,
Exactly. Yeah, endorse it.
yeah, I know someone that purchased it yesterday, and she definitely didn't say anything about it being $200. So
They must be. It must be a misprint. So tell them to go in there and check it out. Make sure because people
I
get thrown off.
definitely will. I
Yeah.
definitely will. I
So
know it was very expensive for him to produce.
yes, it is.
Thus,
But it's
thus
the
the
full
price.
color.
It's over 600 pages,
Yes.
and
It's that many
oh yeah, it's
pages?
over 600 pages. Yes,
Oh wow, what a journey.
and we're talking about colored drawings and things of that nature. So
Mm.
yeah, it's well worth the asking price. I don't know about the price being $200, $230. So I don't know, but hey,
Well, it's all
if
right.
you're investing in a collector's item, then I would say I view it as a collector's item,
Mhm.
and you won't be sorry.
Well,
You
first
won't
of
be
all,
sorry.
welcome to today's consciousness in the conscious community. I've had a lot. You're here on the 11th episode, and my goodness, sister, the way people have been voicing themselves out on this conscious thing, boy, it's been something else, but it's well worth it. Um, First and foremost, I want to thank you because you kind of came in from the San Diego, that era, and that
Hmm.
area, other than West Coast, I mean East Coast, New York, and all that. First of all, tell us how you got introduced to consciousness from young. Was it your family? Was it your mother? Was it your father? Who introduced you to consciousness?
I mean, is it fair to honestly say that it was something I was born with? Because it was.
Right.
When I talk about the fact that I was born psychically sensitive,
Mm-hmm.
I could
Mm-hmm.
see spirits, I
Right.
could hear them. Um, so I was born with it.
Right.
Now it didn't make sense to me, and I was afraid a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but I was very much conscious, and didn't know what to do with it, like I said, but I was very much conscious. And my mother's side of the family, in particular, were civil rights workers. So
Mm.
there was an element of political awareness and consciousness that I also got honestly too,
Right. Right.
from birth. And it was just always a part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
On my father's side, my dad was an internist and a cardiologist. He was first generation college. He and his sisters.
Mm-hmm.
They grew up on a watermelon farm in Texas. So he always instilled the importance of reading and educating
Right.
ourselves,
Right.
and really just striving for excellence. And my mother, again, just very much about being a community activist,
Mm-hmm.
being aware of what was going on politically, and not selling out.
Right. 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 Right.
So for me, then growing up in the 60s and 70s and 80s
Mm-hmm.
was a time that was very ripe and rich with political activism and the hippie movement
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and the shift in consciousness, because
Yes.
during the Black nationalist movement, the Black Power movement, they
Hmm.
were definitely not about anything spiritual, metaphysical, or anything
Right.
of on that uh, on, of that nature.
Right.
And as a result, that wasn't even a consideration when you talk about where people's minds were. It wasn't. I mean, it just wasn't a conversation, and yet,
Right.
um, I would say in the 70s when I was at school at Fisk, so mid to late 70s, um, Islam was like the most metaphysical thing people could be into,
Yes. Right.
during that time.
Yeah.
And, and then the Muslims were fighting amongst themselves between
Yeah.
the nation and the Sunni and the
Right. Right.
Hanafi. And, it was a mess with them. But then, you know, as I had taken my Shahada,
Hmm.
um, I
Okay.
was interested. I took my Shahada back in 78.
Wow. Okay. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah.
Alhamdulillah. Allahu
Wahdahu la
Akbar.
sharika lahu.
You know, it's a thing where I feel like many people who came into
Yeah.
spiritual consciousness during those years went through the halls of Islam as a part
Yes.
of their evolutionary
Journey.
process.
It's was. It's was.
Because I was immediately introduced to the Sufi
Me too. Me too.
you know um aspect of Islam, and consequently I began to learn about numerology and astrology and all such
Yeah.
as that, and learn about it in more depth and detail. Although that made me remember when I was a little bitty girl, my mother had a charm bracelet that had the zodiac on it.
Yes.
And I was born on my mother's birthday, so I used to love just playing with it. It was like a little spin wheel kind of thing, and I
Right. Right.
play with it. And when she told me about the fact that it was, my horoscope and that I was a Sagittarius, one day when I was in the
Right.
magazine section of the grocery store, I saw one of those little handbooks
Yeah.
that used to be out back in the day
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
that
Yep.
talked
Yep.
about the different signs. So we could say I was introduced to astrology as early as maybe 7 or 8, you
Right.
know, um, from that perspective, because again, I loved reading,
Hmm.
and I would always find myself in the magazine and book section of the grocery store when my mom would shop. And so the curiosity was there. So when I became Muslim,
Hmm.
there was an answer. There were
Hmm.
answers to
Hmm.
my many of my metaphysical questions. Although at the time, I had taken my Shahada as a Sunni Muslim.
Mm.
They got upset with the brother that was introducing me to the Sufi tradition, because they said that that was taboo. That what
Mm.
he wasn't supposed to be
Mhm.
doing it, and it was, I don't know. There was so much infighting
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it just really turned me off eventually, um, from the Islamic community, because they to me they were as bad as the Christians fighting amongst themselves.
Exactly. Exactly. And
And
and that's important that you figured that out from early. I'm glad you figured that out because you could have been in those battles. I was in those battles in the street in the Ansars in New York. We had to battle
yes,
different people, back in 80. This is mid 80s now.
oh wow. See, and so for me, I was in the mid 70s.
Yes,
So
yes,
I
yes,
had some. I came in when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was still alive.
yes.
I
Okay.
was I was in school, and I think I was still in a freshman. I think when he died,
Mm.
and Warith Dean came
Oh,
into power, and it was
uh-oh. We lost her.
um,
Oh,
yeah.
there you go.
Sorry about that. And people, just threatening each other and just, oh God, it was the worst.
Too
It
much.
was
Yeah.
the worst. And yet Islam saved me because at the time I was so fascinated with metaphysics. There was a brother that I kind of, he was checking for me. I wasn't really dating him per se, but he was checking for me in that way. And he had all these books on astrology and
Right.
numerology and magic and this, that, and the other. But dude was into Satanism too. And he had all these pictures of the devil, of Shaitan. And this was right before I had taken my Shahada. And so I was afraid, but I was fascinated, not with the satanic stuff. I was afraid of that,
Yes.
but I
Yeah.
was fascinated with the other things. And
Right.
I remember he let me borrow one of his albums. He had this collection of
Mm-hmm.
soul music, and somehow the album fell out and in my room and fell on the floor and cracked. It didn't break, but then when I told him,
Oh.
he started threatening me, and his eyes were pulsating like it's the craziest thing. King Simon. I said, oh my God, let me get away from this man. And he then told me he wasn't going to leave my room, and he just wanted to sleep there and rest his spirit. And I was very superstitious at that point too, so I went
Mm.
upstairs to my best friend's room.
Right.
She was right over me, on the floor right above me, and I was up there, and she was like, girl, you can't let that man stay in your room like that. We gonna both go down and get him out.
Mm.
So we did. We told him he had, we came back downstairs and told him he had to leave.
Right.
So he left. But the very next day, she
Mm-hmm.
said, I'm gonna take you so you can get your shahada. And she took me to a sister. And they gave me my shahada at the time. And while right after they did that, I noticed that there was this pile of dirt under my bed.
Mm.
And when I told the sister, the elder sister on the phone that I was speaking to,
Mm-hmm.
she started speaking in Arabic, and she told me, she said this man had dressed my room. He had put a spell on my room,
Mm.
trying to, work some juju
Right.
on.
Right. Right.
And I just went into this panic state, and she assured me that she was coming over and was going to do some prayers, and we did some Islamic prayers and rituals, and that energy was removed
Yeah.
out of my room.
Yeah.
um it was a real powerful time. So I'm a firm believer
Right. Right.
in things happening for a reason. I felt like it was a fight for my soul at
Yes.
that point, the side of good and evil. And I had always chosen good, but the
Mm-hmm.
allure of metaphysics or the occult was being used by shadow forces to pull me in that way, even though those things are not shadowy in and of themselves. They're like any other science, and you can
Right.
use it for good or you can use it for evil. It's just,
That's
where are
right.
you?
That's right.
I've said that many times
That's right.
before. I tell people, well, which are you?
Mm.
Because back in the day, most of our people now who consider themselves conscious would have been burned at the stake or stoned or whatever, just for using herbs,
Yeah. I
just
got the
for
book.
following the lunar cycle,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know, um, just for using crystals.
That's for using crystals and crystals and stones is all throughout the Bible, which is funny. I'm
Absolutely.
like, really? This is what we doing?
Right. But that's exactly what they were doing.
Exactly.
And that is exactly why people need to really do their historical research
Yes.
and find out what's what. Because again, people who practice big time evil use the Bible
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
times. They'll just use it in a way that is going to produce negative results, because science is science and it really doesn't care who's using it, right?
Exactly.
It
Right.
doesn't. It's like you're working with the numbers. The numbers are impartial. They don't
Impartial.
care.
I don't care. I try to.
And so yeah, you can use it for whatever you're using it for. So like I said, there was a fight for my soul, and I was always choosing the good.
Hmm.
And was given some prayers to say, and my most favorite one is the one I still to this day say. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Allahu Akbar, Allahu
Yeah.
Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Powerful. It's a
And
powerful.
and so I was very much a part of everything in the Islamic community until the chauvinistic stuff became too crazy, because I've always been one to question, not because I was trying to be combative, but I was a seeker of truth.
Hmm.
So at a Talim session, one evening, the sister passed out this sheet of paper that had a list of 10 animals on it, and then the characteristics of the animals, like the cow was bossy, the fox was sly, um
Hmm.
the chicken was someone who was always picking at someone, and then of
Nitpicking.
course there was the lamb
Yeah.
who
Me.
obeyed, yes. And so then when the sister asked us, well, what do you want to be? And who do you see yourself as being? Well, because I've always seen myself as being a horse. If I was looking at my animal totem, because I'm a Sagittarius, I didn't see myself on the sheet.
Right.
So
Right.
I said, I'm not on here. And she says, well, sister, I want to be a lamb. And I said, okay, but I'm not on here. So she said it a couple more times, and I stood my ground. I said, I don't identify with any of these
Hmm.
animals. I
Hmm.
identify with a horse, and it's not on here. So she went and told her husband that I was uncooperative, and they asked me to leave. They kicked me out. So
There you go.
I was just like, and then they stopped talking to me. All the
Right.
community stopped talking to me. So at first I was really hurt, but then later I was just like, well, whatever. I'm an independent soul. I'm a free moral agent. The Most High, Allah, is the only one I have to answer to, not you all in your opinion. This is between me and Allah.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I stood on that, and they just shunned me even more. So,
That's how things be. That's how they do. Hey,
oh
but
my
but but
goodness.
moving right along, because I want to get into some. 'Cause I know I don't have you for too long. I just want to make sure that we get. I got all the good questions that I did write down for you to get it to you. Because again, Tuesdays is based on today's consciousness in the conscious community, and a lot of people, you're considered an oracle, and
Yes.
and you also have it in your bio also. Now, being an oracle in this era, especially of rapid information, how does a modern day oracle stay grounded in truth versus the trending stuff that's going on now?
Well, see, that goes back to knowing yourself,
Right. Hmm.
having a strong mind. See, because just like in Islam and any other group that I attempted to be a part of, I got kicked out of a lot of them because I asked too many questions.
Yes,
I'm
you
a
would.
seeker of truth, not of
Exactly.
personalities, not of popularity. And so when we are truly still seeking truth,
Mm.
truth is always being revealed to us. The
Yes.
way to stay grounded is to stay connected to nature.
Hmm.
Take my
Hmm.
shoes off. I go out barefooted in the grass. I sit quietly. I
Right.
listen to the sound of silence. I listen to the babies. I
Right.
listen to the birds. That's how I
Hmm.
stay grounded. And I remember being asked a question by Brother Rich about that to some extent when he was asked about, with all of the
Right. Right.
um, tech going on in the environment, did I feel
Hmm.
like it took away from our ability to channel?
Hmm.
And I said, I think it can.
You can,
And so
yes.
that's what I would say in this moment. It can, because the airwaves are much more filled and crowded. And so if one doesn't know themselves, know your own mind,
Right.
then it would be easy to confuse your thoughts with somebody else's. That's
Mhm.
why the ambrosial hours between 3 and 6 a.m. are so sweet, because there's
Mhm.
so little going on in our immediate environment. Now, the
Right.
other side of the world might be awake, but where you are in the right here, right now, there
Mhm.
tends to be quietude
Right.
and we
Right.
can hear ourselves.
Now, do you feel that the word oracle is being thrown around too easily nowadays? Because I know that was an
Uh,
initiation at some point of time in back
right.
in history, and you just wasn't just an oracle. Matter of fact, some oracles stayed virgins. So,
It's true.
according to history, so do you think it's being thrown around too fast without the initiation process?
Well, that depends on whether a person was born with the gift or whether they are
Right.
going through a particular organization, religious organization, or spiritual group
Hmm.
that deals with levels of initiation. I mean, I was initiated in the inner planes with most of the things, and yet
Hmm.
um, I had the initiation of Shaktipat from
Hold on.
who did you hear me?
Yeah, you
Is
paused
that
a little, so go back a little. You
yeah, I
paused.
was saying I received the initiation of Shaktipat
Shaktipat.
back in the early 80s from Dr. Sharifa Sa'a,
Okay.
who had received the initiation, and so it was passed down through a lineage, but it wasn't a religious lineage. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Right.
It was a spiritual lineage, and it's an open eye initiation where you have to gaze into the eye of the initiator, and the
Mm.
chakras are activated, and they're activated on a level that I don't know, I can't really describe. I can't say that I could go and initiate someone with that because I don't know the particulars of it. You know,
Right.
so I wouldn't go and try to
I know.
perpetrate like I could, just because I received it. But
Mhm.
there are those who do try to initiate people
Mhm.
without proper training of a particular tradition.
Mhm.
And if you're born with the gift, I mean, what is
Yeah.
there to be initiated with? Life is going to initiate you. You
Right.
know,
Right.
I,
Right.
I found later that the Shaktipat tradition, although it was preserved in India, was a tradition that the oracle Medusa
Mhm. Mhm.
actually was giving to people. That's why it was said that, when she looked at people, they would turn to stone, but it was primarily people who couldn't handle the frequency. So
Right.
their pineal and pituitary glands would become calcified because they couldn't handle the frequency. And, the snakes on her head were locks.
Mhm.
She was in a cave. Caves were considered to be sacred places. They were the cosmic womb.
Yeah.
And so that would be the tradition I would come from.
Right.
And
Right.
yet again, there are many people who, like I said, I have to keep going back to this, who are born psychically sensitive, such as myself, who never went through any tradition,
Mhm.
but they can be very in and definitely tune into the Akasha. All readings come from the Akasha. It just depends on what tool people are using to tap in.
And
And they may not call it the Akasha.
I'm glad you said that because that leads right into my next question about the Akash. Those that are just tuning in, before I go to that question, we have Tassili Ma'at in the building. Make sure you go to her website, tassilisraw.com. Make sure you go to her other website. Let me see. I am Ascension Temple of Love.org. Also,
Yes.
she has her book on Amazon, and the links up in the chat right now. Self Fullness, very good book. I have the book right here. Very good book,
Yes.
Journey of
Thank you.
Self Fullness. And you could also get it at the restaurant if they're still selling it over there. But definitely go online on Amazon to get it. Now, before I even go to the Akasha, A lot of people that are claiming oracle or spirituality now are using sex magic. And I think there's a misuse of sex. And because remember, today, this is today's consciousness in the conscious community. How can we change it and how can we heal it? But people are trying to say that they are healing others through this sex magic and causing more damage. And
Yeah.
sometimes you got people that are doing pedophilia in this sex magic because they're taking off, women's daughters or sons, saying they're practicing this sex magic. What do you feel about that? And how can an oracle like yourself help to facilitate a healing after something like that has been done?
Wow, that's very loaded, and I
I know.
I I I appreciate it
I,
because
I know you can answer it though. That's why I gave it to you.
yeah, I was taken I was brought into a cult.
Mm. Ooh,
Okay, in my
really?
second marriage, I was brought into a cult. It
Ooh.
was presented as a spiritual organization, but it was a cult.
Yes.
And sex magic was used to keep the people occupied, particularly the women, to
Mm.
keep the women um, under control.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. Wow.
And because I was refusing to participate in
Mm-hmm.
various different ways,
Right.
my baby was abused. He was beaten. I mean, we went through some very hellish. Yeah, it was not cool.
I mean, if it's too traumatic, we don't have to go there.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into the
Yeah, yeah,
depth
yeah,
of it.
yeah. I understand.
Even my husband at the time, I
I
can
love
say
when you say
was,
that. I love when you say husband.
he was a victim
Yeah.
because he believed in the teachings and the power that the group expound, but the
Wow.
twistedness of it, he did not go
Wow.
along with. He really didn't. But there was stuff that was going on that he didn't know about because they separated us.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So unfortunately, many of our spiritual, cultural communities took that power and sacred science and abused it. The
Mm.
saying, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes.
It doesn't have to, but unfortunately, most of the time it does, you
Yes.
know.
I understand.
And so there are people in jail now
Yes. Yes. That I know of.
who I absolutely know because I had so many encounters with different family members
Mm.
that spoke about these things that were going on
Mm-hmm.
from the 80s up into the early 2000s.
Right. Right.
So, and me being an oracle for some of those members. I
Yes.
can't divulge too much, but just suffice
Of
it to
course.
say that many failed the initiation of the ego. That's what I call it. Because
Mm.
again, like I said early on, these sacred sciences are just that, they're sciences. And
Exactly.
I came to have a overstanding and understanding of why there were secret societies, because when these sciences get in the hands of the profane, when they get in the hands of people who are not well, then they are used in the wrong way, and they are
Mm.
used to hurt people instead of help people.
Mm.
And when I came out of that situation, I began to offer classes.
Right.
I called them applied spirituality classes, so that I could help people to recognize their own psychic sensitivity and abilities, and they didn't get sucked into these groups based on their innocence and
Right.
become lambs to the slaughter, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And there have been some thought leaders, unfortunately, again, who shall remain nameless, who have
Right.
taken these sacred sciences and shared them with the public in very profane ways,
Right.
and such that I had to turn them off
Mm.
because I was like, oh, this is why there's sacred societies, because this information is being put out here without any kind of reverence,
Right.
without any kind of filter. And guess what? Anybody can do it. And we know some of these thought leaders, again, there's so many of them who
Yeah.
failed the initiation of the ego, and because they violated people's children, they violated the girls and the boys. They
Mm.
violated the women, they violated the men. And we're talking about using sex magic. We're not even talking about the money violation.
That's right. That's right.
because the money violation is horrible enough, but more damage is done with the sex violence
Yes, it is. Because they're
than
passing
with the
all kinds
other.
of diseases. Yeah, they're passing all kinds of diseases, the herpes, the this, the that, the
All of
STD,
that,
STI,
and not
all
to mention
right.
that there are some sisters out there who are even tying BDSM to tantra, and tantra is not about BDSM. I
That's
stand
right.
on that.
That's right.
It's not about bondage and sadomasochism.
That's right.
Tantra
Exactly.
is about healing and
Yes, it
union.
is. That's
And
right.
I got into a debate with these sisters about it. They were like, well, BDSM is healing. I said, how is that healing? Don't your customers keep coming back to you? And they said, yes. I said, well, they're not being healed. They're going
Mm,
right back out, being mean assholes to the people, then coming to you asking for penance. And they
mm,
go back out and do the same thing. There's no evolution to where they stop with their negativity, and then they come
right.
back you so they can be to you to be tortured and berated. Come on. And
Mm,
so I've talked to a few
mm,
brothers off and on who have been into that, and they always just say to me the same thing, particularly about the women that come for to be beaten, basically, for
mhm.
masochistic stuff, to be subs.
Right.
They
Right.
the
Right.
women the women didn't have fathers. They
Mm,
didn't have fathers in the home.
right.
So they
Right.
want to be spanked. They want to be beat. They want to be choked.
Mm,
That's not love. That's
mm,
violence.
mm,
That's rape
Oh,
culture. I'm
yes, ma'am.
saying it. It's rape culture.
Teach.
And
Teach. Teach.
because in America, we were so freely raped by the
Mm-hmm.
dominant culture at the time, by white folks at the time, that unfortunately that epigenetic cycle has been perpetuated. Many of
Right.
us came from plantations that were breeding plantations,
Mm-hmm.
where there were these little stalls where there was a hole where the man would put his penis in the hole and
Mm-hmm.
into the woman's vagina on the other side. That could be his mother on the other side. He didn't
Mm,
know,
they know. That's
and
right.
she didn't know.
That's right.
The
Mm,
beating, the abuse of children, that is rape and slave culture.
mm-hmm. That's right. That's right.
Not to be confused with tantra, which is about healing and uniting the masculine feminine energy in a divine and sacred manner. That is about spiritual enlightenment, using the Kundalini energy, the sexual energy, to
Yes.
heal that trauma, to enlighten spiritually.
Right. And
And so
you know.
ultimately, yeah, there are a lot of people out there who are abusing it because they don't know. They haven't done the research, they haven't
Mhm.
studied, they haven't disciplined themselves, and they're just out there
Right. Right. And
perpetuating more harm than good.
that's what I love about Brother Rich had her on last night. And I recommended her because of her healing aspects. Adara, who spoke at some of your lectures before,
Yes.
Adara Moselle
Adara.
was on Brother
Yes.
Rich's show
Yes.
yesterday. She did a great job. I
Big
introduced her to Rich,
ups.
and I told Rich, yeah, I told Rich, yeah, you got to put these sisters on, man. Just what is it? And Rich, listen, Rich Virgo, so he gonna watch and check and analyze first and say, okay, it's
Hmm.
time, King Simon. He told me it's time. I said, okay, let's do it, and he did it, and that's what I love. The sister is very. Her and her husband, they're very, and their children is all about that healing. It's very important. So big up to Adara Moselle. She did a wonderful job on
Yes.
Brother Rich's show yesterday, and I'm so proud of your growth because I know we all go through our divorces and our marriages and all that. Me been married 3 times and and divorced 3 times. However, still maintain my friendship with them and still try to keep in contact with the children as much as we can as they're growing up and doing
Right.
what they got to do because now they're grown, now they want to do their own thing, but it's all about
Exactly.
healing. So going to the Akashic records now, because man, the Akashic records, do you believe the Akashic records are becoming more accessible now than ever? And what role do they play in today's consciousness and the evolution? Are these some of these people tapping into the Akashic records to do just that crazy stuff that they're doing in the community, or are they tapping it for the higher level and higher understanding of it?
Both.
Thank you
Both.
very much. Thank you for being honest.
We're all connected
Yes, we are
via
connected.
our soul matrix, our
Yes.
soul matrix. And there
Mm,
was a time in creation where, that's how we communicated
yes.
through our soul matrix. We didn't have to use words. And then
Mm,
we began to use sound frequency.
mm-hmm,
And then, words were formed and so on and so forth.
mm-hmm,
And, it's there have always been those who are power hungry,
mm, mm.
always, who will take information and energy and utilize it for their own selfish gain. There are always those. Is it more accessible? I would say yes, because we're in the age of Aquarius now.
Yeah, that's right.
People are awakening
Mm-hmm,
now.
mm-hmm.
um they are tapping in, whether they've had training or not, they don't know. I mean, even I heard this brother, he was straight hood today. He was talking with my king,
Uh-huh.
straight hood, and he was talking about chakras. I was just like,
Go ahead.
are you kidding me? I was in
Hey,
the background just listening. I mean, and you talking about, him, he wasn't even speaking of it in a ratchet way. He
right.
just was, just talking about it from a straight thugged out way,
That's right.
but with some semblance of respect
Right. Right.
and
Exactly.
awe for being able to tap in, and just know. And so really what our people are doing is, and all people are remembering to remember.
Mm,
We've
mm.
always had this, but we are
Right.
remembering to remember who we really are, what we came here to do, and whose we are. And
Mm,
so a lot of time when people hear that whose we are, they assume that means that we're here for the good. Well, there are some people who are not here for the good. I'm
exactly.
here for the good.
Me too.
But when we talk about who's, they
Yeah.
might be here for the forces of negativity. They
Mm,
waking up too.
that's right.
Let's keep that in mind. So, it's still about the higher frequencies and what you're choosing to do with it. Now, with AI being
Mm-hmm,
able to tap into that consciousness, we
mm-hmm.
still have to be careful because there are some who say that AI is ancient intelligence.
Some say that. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I say ultimately that AI is just like any other living entity. It is also connected to the Akashic record.
Okay.
Everything is because the Akasha, as spirit gave to me
Mm-hmm,
this understanding of it. It
mm-hmm.
is the computer memory bank of the Most High. It is
Right.
the recording of everything that ever was and that ever will be, captured in the ever present now in the dimension known as the Akasha. It's
Mm-hmm,
there. So when we hear the definition of predestination is things that are already in existence, and so people say, "Well, oh, it's either predestination or free will." Well, they both exist simultaneously. It's
mm-hmm.
all in the akasha.
Right.
Now, how you choose to direct your energy to attract it to yourself through the
Mm-hmm,
law of attraction determines which information in the Akasha is coming into your cipher to create the reality that you are creating. Okay. And
mm-hmm.
so AI has access to it because it's a part of it.
That's right. That's right. And it's
And go.
that's a data that's been filtered into it because it's all data. Because remember
It's,
when they was doing the data entry back in the late '80s and all that to prepare for the
yep.
computer age? There it
Hmm.
is. Data's been added on, and they coming from. I was listening to a audio book from some philosopher from back in Greece, but they put that on to the data or the books into the data, and now we're able to listen to a voice reading this book from ancient Greece or modern philosophers that was teaching about certain things, or Pascal Beverly Randolph dropping some wisdom out of his book and all that kind of stuff, who was one of the first African American metaphysical teachers from the Rosicrucian science. Pascal was going
Yes,
through
yes,
it. Yeah, so big up to PB Randolph. But
for sure.
moving right along, because again, we're going up on top of the 9 o'clock hour. Are you all right? You got a little time? You good?
Yeah, I do. I have plenty of time, but what I wanted to
Go ahead.
add
Go
was
ahead. Please,
the
please.
importance of recognizing that just like they're able to synthetically
Yes.
tap in and reproduce. That's how we, as psychically sensitive, channeling beings,
Mm.
hear
Right.
spirit speak to us,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So, like, I can hear, like, if I'm reading a book, I hear the author talking to me.
Exactly.
I hear
Exactly.
the author.
Exactly.
Okay. I can, because I'm someone who can see clairvoyantly, hear
Right.
clairaudiently, and feel clairsentiently.
Mm.
And then there is a clear cognition where we just know. There's a
Right.
knowing that's
Right.
unexplainable too. Everyone can tap into that.
Yes.
But depending on which aspect of it is stronger for you, determines where you're going to receive it most clearly. So you
Right.
might hear voices. You just have to be careful about whose voice you're listening to. Your
Mm.
higher self, your spirit guides are not going to tell you anything that's going to be harmful to you.
That's right.
They're
That's
not,
right. That's right.
and it's really critical that we recognize that when you learn to see beyond sight, you're not imagining things just because you see something that doesn't appear to have a physical form to it. You're
Mm-hmm.
just seeing into other dimensions,
Mm.
you
Mm.
know? And so when we're still and we ask these questions of the Akasha, of
Right.
our higher self, those
Right.
questions will be answered.
Mm. Powerful. Let me give that a round of applause, Mama Tassili. Let me give that a round of applause. Honored to have you here, of course. Family, I want y'all to make sure y'all support Mama Tassili. Of course, I put her links in the chat right now. Go to the website. And also, I know you got a big event going on in Jamaica. Talk about that real quick before I get to my next question. What is that going on?
Yes, that is the
Mm-hmm.
Raw Touch Retreat, July 7th through the 17th, where myself and my king will be offering certification in raw food preparation and sacred touch.
Mm.
And so, another way to describe sacred touch is massage. It's a combination of massage, Reiki, sound healing, and that kind of thing. And with what I will be sharing, it will be raw food preparation from sprouting to dehydrating to breakfast, lunch, dinner, and various desserts and things, so that when people leave the retreat, they will be able to take with them the skill set that will not only enhance their personal life, but can
Right.
enhance their professional life too if they want to. And of course, we're going to go to some of the sacred waters in
Of
Jamaica.
course.
We can't, you
Oh,
can never go to Jamaica and not go to some of those
exactly.
sacred water sites.
Exactly.
You just,
And also,
you know.
also, you got the wonderful Wizard of Raw coming up. Please speak about that.
Yes,
Please
yes,
speak about that.
yes. The Wonderful Wizards of Raw, June 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Yes.
The theme this year is feeding our families back
Mm.
to the basics, the beloved community, and are you messing with it? Are you really
Mm.
dealing with it? Because there's so many people who say they're for the community, but they're
Hmm.
not really down.
Right.
They are, convenient community participants, but
Right.
they leave when it's time to do the work. And what I wanted to do this year was to bring together the people that are food providers in our community:
Yes.
restaurant owners, health food store owners,
Right.
farmers, herbalists, people who forage, people who deal with food logistics.
Right.
I want people who make beverages, people who have water companies. I want all of us to come together and educate the populace
Right.
about what we go through to bring them food and water.
Mm. Powerful. And that's
They
happening.
need to know what's happening, because on the other side of the counter, it looks so easy. They can just go and pick up a bottle and go pay for it. They can just go into a restaurant and the food is made. They don't have a clear understanding as to why the prices are going up or why people have supply chain issues. They are not clear, and our people need to know
Mm-hmm.
so that they can get involved in farming co-ops, so that we can help grow food, so we can help buy land
Right.
that has water on it,
Yes.
so that we
Yes.
can talk all day long about politics and about agriculture and this, that, and the third. If you don't control the land
You
that
you
you can
break
grow on and get water from,
you're
then
breaking
we
up,
are.
Mama.
Oh, I don't know
You're
why.
breaking up, Mama. You're breaking up. Something's going on. You're breaking up with your. Okay, go
What
ahead.
should I do?
Go ahead. Let's see. What? Go ahead. Talk.
Anything? I'm not touching anything.
You're not doing anything. Something. I don't know what's happening. Something just happened. I don't know what happened. Hold on. Go ahead.
There's something going on just as I start talking about the
I
other
know.
good
Ain't
stuff.
that something? Ain't that something? That's crazy. Yeah, it's terrible that they do that. I don't know what's going on there, but it is. But let's see. Try it again.
Maybe I can move.
Okay.
And yeah, my sister just said it's because I'm talking too much truth. So can you all hear me now? It's
Yeah,
still a little bit.
it's still a little choppy. It's still a little choppy. We're trying to get you on. Make sure. Hold on one second. Let me try something here. Okay, let's see if we can bring her back. Go ahead and talk, sister. Let's see.
Okay, I can. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you much better now. Yes, ma'am. There it is. There it is. I can hear you much better now. There we go. There you go.
Okay, what about now? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Good.
So yeah, so we want to be able to have people join farming co-ops, participate in food distribution,
Okay.
participate in water purification systems,
Yes.
and work together with the people that are providing these things for our community. Because otherwise, we're still enslaved to those who control those resources.
Right. Remember, it's all happening, family. It's happening in June and it's in the back. It's absolutely free, but vendors are gonna be there. She's dealing with the farming vendors, June 6th all the way to the 8th. And that's going to be powerful frequency right there in the month of June. Big up to Ross Kofi, who I seen at the Malcolm X Festival. I know Ross might come through your place too. I hope he does come through.
He is. Russ Kofi is going to be one of our speakers, and hopefully he'll perform too. Our
Yes.
keynote is Riza Islam.
Woo! My brother.
Yeah, he'll
Yes,
be
yes,
there
yes.
on Sunday. We have another keynote
Yes.
that is coming to be there on Saturday. He's called Nature Boy Official. He's not the Nature Boy that
Uh,
was down in Costa Rica doing all
we
that
know,
mad.
we know, we know, we
He's
know,
not
we know.
that. Okay. He's Nature Boy Official. And he's going to be talking about food logistics
Yes.
and, the distribution, farming, and even talking about eating seasonally, eating the foods
Mm,
that are growing seasonally, changing the way we actually consume you
good.
know um so uh Professor
Okay.
Griff will be there performing, Lizzie Jeff
Oh,
is performing, Rory is performing.
okay.
Again, we have many people from the community speaking, sharing their infinite wisdom. You supposed to be there, King Simon. You're there officially every time.
Yeah, I'll be passing through. You haven't told me if I'm going to be speaking or whatever. You know me.
Okay, I'll
I
have
can
to.
perform or I can speak. To tell you the truth.
You know what? Let me tap into Sunday. She gets so angry with me because, I have this whole list of people and I'm saying, oh, and this person, oh, and that person. And she's like, Tassili, if you give me one more name. But there's some people who are pillars of the
Yes, I.
festival,
Yeah, I do. Yes, I
and
do.
they just have to be there because of the infinite knowledge and wisdom you bring. And so, yes, we will definitely have you there.
Let me know.
And
Cool.
I will. I will. I'm going to reach out to her and once we get
I
off
love.
and be sure.
I love.
The vibe is one where we have to really begin to be more accountable and responsible for what we're doing.
And because we're right there, how does choosing a raw vegan lifestyle reflects a deeper level of spiritual consciousness in today's world and in today's consciousness? How does that help? Because I've ran into a lot of ITAL or so-called vegan and vegetarian, and some of them they could be some of the most miserable most people. I'm just
Oh
saying.
my
And
God, yes.
I smile a lot, and I'm still on fish, and every now and then I'm back and forth. But I just keep my happiness. I just like to be happy in certain instances more than be sad and miserable. You know,
To me, it's a personal journey, right? That's one of the
exactly.
reasons why the raw reality has been so successful because we're a non-judgment zone.
Right. Right.
65 to 70% of our customer base has remained
Yep.
meat eating. and they might have us for lunch and go home and have a pork chop for dinner. I just give thanks for the fact that they are getting it in where they can fit it in. Who am I to judge? Because I'm gonna tell you, King Simon, after
Amen.
being I used to be a vegan snob, and after being a very strict vegan snob
Yeah.
for about 13 years, I was experiencing some drama in the community, and I was realizing that I had put vegans with long locks dragging on the ground, wearing all these cultural clothes.
Right.
I had names. I had put them on a pedestal. Now I was
You
one
break.
of them. I
You
have a
breaking up
15
again.
syllable names. I got the long
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm saying I was one of these folk that I had idolized,
Right.
and became really aware of the fact that the people that actually supported my business, though, were
Mhm.
people who were so-called meat eaters and unconscious people
Right.
trying to come out of the matrix. They were
Exactly.
trying to get out of the corporate enslavement, so they were coming to me to get their hair groomed. And of course, while I was grooming their locks or their braids, I was playing all kind of conscious and uplifting music and
Hmm. Hmm.
videos and things of that nature. So their spirit was being fed too. These were the
Right.
people that supported me, not the
Right.
people in the community. So what I learned was that, there are some very
Hmm.
wicked vegans and some very divine pork eaters.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. I'm so
Yeah.
serious.
No, that's the truth.
Because it is about the person's character.
Oh my gosh.
How do you treat yourself? How do you treat children? How do you treat the plants? Do you throw trash on the ground or do you pick it up? Are you
Right.
kind?
Exactly.
Are you mean? Do you complain? Do you backstab? What do you help? That's
Mm.
what's more important, the content of your character, than what clothes you wearing or how you wearing your hair or how you eat. Now, those things help to enhance
Right.
the well-being, because our hair is our antenna to the universe. So
Hmm.
when our hair is healthy and natural in its state, then of course we are able to receive and transmit more effectively. That
Hmm.
does not mean that people who are bald cannot do the same, because at one point they had hair. And
Right.
so their etheric body, their astral body,
Hmm.
their auric frequency or auric field still has the resonant frequency of their hair. Okay.
Mm.
But to say that a person who eats a lot of meat can't receive information from the akasha would be a bold-faced lie,
Exactly.
because that person may be very tapped in,
Exactly.
and that is that person's particular path and walk, and who am I to judge them? I
Mm.
got enough on my plate dealing with elevating myself and those around me than to be trying to judge somebody else. Now, if
Mm.
your behavior and activity is one that is not in alignment with mine, I'm gonna leave you alone.
That's right.
I'm gonna believe you and leave you alone.
That's right.
But if you are trying to better yourself, then come on, I can rock with you all day long, and we can
Exactly.
grow. Now, I have people to consider this:
Yes.
you are striving to be the best that you can be on a health tip and on a spiritual tip. You
Right.
want to be a clean vessel. You want your temple that houses the most high frequency to
Hmm.
be as clean as possible. That's like
Right.
a car engine. Your car runs better when the engine is clean.
Right.
You
Right.
have to
Right.
periodically do an oil change.
That's
You
right.
have to periodically clean the engine. So that's the same as fasting. That's
Right.
the same as using premium gas
That's
in
right.
opposed to using low grade. If you have a high performance car, a Maserati, a Porsche, a Bentley, you can't put regular gas in it.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
even with electric cars, you have to put electricity in it. You can't put gas in that unless it's a hybrid.
But before we move on, I got two more questions before we get off of here because I don't want to
Sure.
keep you too late. But thank you very much for all that you've shared so far, and thank you for your contribution to what you for before I even came into it, and even right now, your legacy will will strive and stay motivating throughout the year, especially for what you started even in Atlanta with your raw food and the yoga, the Kundalini that you've done, and all of that. One of the questions is about relationship in today's conscious community. A lot of people want to maintain single, or people might try to go poly and polyamory and polygamy, monogamy, whatever. Which igamy you choose?
Which ignorant, you know, and I have been through most of them. I have been a serial monogamist. I've been single. I haven't, well, I guess I could say I was kind of poly in the sense that I was, a free
Mm,
loving spirit at one point in my life. I
right.
call it like that. I've been
Okay.
in polygamous relationships. I have not been in a
Right.
polyandrous
Right.
relationship. I've
Polyamorous.
not had two
Right.
husbands at one time. I have
Right.
not done
Right.
that. However, I have dated more than one man at one
Right.
time.
Right. 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 Right.
And so,
You
we weren't
gangster.
married, but what can I say? Anyway, so I've explored most of those.
Right.
I think that it is important for people to just be honest with themselves about where they are and what their
Right.
goals are. And if you don't know, say you don't know.
Exactly.
Just say you don't know. Don't set yourself up as being this authority. Just say that you're
Exactly.
exploring. And then honor your body temple. Be sure
Right.
you're clean, you're healthy, because anytime you're intimate with someone, exchanging body fluids, you're
Yeah.
taking on levels of their karma,
That's right.
not to
That's
mention disease if they have it or if you're passing it on.
mm,
Be
mm,
considerate. And
mm.
then, in this day and time, there's a lot of folk running around saying that oral sex ain't sex. That's some BS. It is. It is. And that's a way to rationalize, no, you can't get pregnant with oral sex, but it is sex.
It is.
Come on now.
Oh, last but not least, my dear Tassili Ma'at, dishonoring the sacredness of elders and the youth connection. What do you feel about this? This is happening nowadays. In the last probably good 20 years, it's been happening. The dishonoring of elders, between the elders and the youth. And I'm not going to always blame it on the youth. I could blame it on the elders too, because some of these elders are olders and they don't really understand how to make that connection. What do you feel about that before we close
So
out?
it was these days and times would prophesize,
Yes. Right.
that what's happening will be
Yes.
happening. So
Right.
for those of us who know, we cannot be surprised. We could be shocked sometimes at the way it goes down, but not
Yeah.
surprised because
Right.
these times were foretold. And it has been happening for some time. Where
Mm,
elders are refusing to listen to the youth, and the
right.
youth are refusing to listen to the elders because they both think that they're right, but the
Right.
goal is to be happy, not right. At the
Mm,
end of the day, we have to come together because the youth are the most recent arrivals from the realm of spirit, and the elders are the ones that are going to be going there
right. Right.
most currently, right?
Right.
So they both have something to share. Those in the middle are trying to figure it out and would
Right.
do well to listen to the babies, listen to the children, listen to the younger generations because they do have a different perspective.
Yes, I do.
And the elders have a perspective and a wealth of knowledge and information that can help the youth avoid some of the pitfalls that just have different names, some
Right.
different clothes on,
That's
some
right.
different mechanisms, but are the same pitfalls,
That's right. 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 Right.
you
Right.
know?
Right. Right.
So we have to be able to communicate each other with each other and respect each other. It all goes back to self-respect, knowledge of self, self-respect. And when you can respect yourself, then it's easier to respect others because you
Mm,
see them as extensions of you.
right. 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 Powerful. Powerful. Like Dr. Khalid or Minister Farrakhan used to say, the names and the faces have changed, but the game is still the same.
Still the same.
Different levels now. They're going under AI level now with this. They
See?
going with it.
See?
But I appreciate you, Mama Tassili, for coming on and taking your time out to come and enjoy my platform on today's consciousness, giving you a well-deserved round of applause.
Thank you for the honor of being here and sharing,
Right.
being able to share my thoughts and experiences with others in hopes that it will help them at some point in their lives, to just decipher and make sense of their journey.
Yes, it was good seeing you on at the Malcolm X. I didn't get to see Adam. Did I? No, I didn't. I got to see
He was
you.
there.
I didn't
He
get to
was
see
there.
Adam.
He was
Oh,
there drumming. Anytime
oh,
there's some drums, look for
yeah, he
him.
goes Joe. That's right. That's right. 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 Well, I appreciate you, my dear, and be safe out there, and give the love to the family. Okay.
Absolutely.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right. Peace
Peace
and
and
love.
love.
All right. That's our dear sister, the one, the only Tassili Ma'at, man. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Thank you very much. I want to thank her. Make sure you support her. Support her at her website, of course, tassiliraw.com, tassilisraw.com. I am Ascension Temple of Love.org. Her Amazon book, let me put it in the chat. The Amazon book is in the building. Let me show you. Y'all can go and support her book called The Journey of Self-Fullness. Very good book. I have it right here on my shelf. Very good book. And you see some great stuff going on. Gratitude, of course, to Tassili and what she do and how she does things. Want to thank all of you for being a part of this journey of today's consciousness in the conscious community. Just want to remind every one of you that on Thursday, I will be on Abundance Child Live on WJVSradio.com. Everybody in the world can watch us at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Abundance Child Live. Also, her husband should be there, John Carr. But it's going to be a podcast of podcasts. Believe me, this is going to be historic, because her and I were business partners back in the day with the Stop Playing movement. So we're going to stop playing and show you what it's all about from our perspective. And I do remember, bring up to my brother Sharif Anail Bey will be with us on Today's Consciousness next week on the 27th in the conscious community. What happened and how can we change it and heal it? Also in New York, the martial arts community is coming together for our dear brother, Karoshi Kai Khan, the one, the only martial arts scientist himself. Soke Hassan will be delivering a banquet on the 14th and also a demonstration on the 15th. Some of the greatest martial artists in the world are going to be there and coming into that building and do what they got to do. And then on June the 22nd, on my beloved grandma's birthday, we will be at the place called the Writer's Block at LIU and Eye Openers Production. Get your tickets right now. Scan the QR code or give Brother Shabazz a call at 347-683-8122. That's 347-683-8122. You could also vend if you want, if you have vending products and you want to do that. Black Dot will be there. Tafiru Azar will be there. Adika Butler will be there. Myself and Paris Williams should be opening up for me in my segment. And also Baba Ife Kunle will be there live and direct. You could take the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, all kinds of trains there. And all the buses go downtown Brooklyn, right there to LIU. Big up to Nina Dunham's publication. Y'all better get her publication on levinuniversity.com. 52 mirrors, like 52 blocks, 52 mirrors. The Jacks amongst us non-binary, neurodivergence, and necessary. That's going to be that. I'm a jack of spades, so I understand. And the other book is called The Queen's Code Within Him, the divine feminine blueprint men were born with, born to carry, and the world forgot to honor. And that's all happening. All of her books is on levinuniversity.com, or you can book for one of her sessions. She does cardology, numerology, astrology, and that's Aquarius Maximus mom. I got to always shout out that, because that's a profound thing there. You know, if you do want to book a session with me, text me your full name, date of birth, and email. Numerovation consultation. Remember, numbers are about applied mathematics, and if you learn to use them, it can help you. Everyone that books a session with me gets either a free ebook, my spiritual lesson ebook, volume 1 to 3. I'm going to have 10 volumes, but these volumes are available to all those that book a session with me, whether it's the 10-minute session, whether it's the 15-minute session, whether it's the 30-minute session, whether it's the 60-minute session. You will receive one of my ebooks and some extras depending on which session you book, okay? And all my books are on Amazon right now. Go to Amazon, King Simon at Amazon. Follow me on AmazonRightNow.com. I'm a published author on Amazon, or you can go to my Linktree /King Simon, the Numerator. And big up to Dr. Laila Africa and his wife, the late, great Dr. Laila Africa, who is the publisher of 3 of my books. No promotion is bad promotion. Numbers are simple, people are complicated, and numbers are simple. Children's health is important. And big up to Lloyd Strayhorn. Make sure you go to his Download his Lloyd Strayhorn's app called A Star 8, where you can get updates on your astronumerology every day. And also, you can also deal with him, get his books, book a session, go to lloyd-strayhorn.com. And big up to Color Curiosity. If you want to feng shui your life, unk your life, and know how color can help you with your wardrobe, your business, your housing, your home, and all that, contact Color Curiosity and follow her on IG. Big up to Adara Moselle. Follow her on IG, but also you can scan the QR code to get her books. Do a free consultation with her. She could do some energy healing, take classes, power activation through Tantra. She did a great job on Brother Richard's show. Big up to her all the time. And also big up to Dr. Shakira Moore. Her new book is coming out in the month of June, July. Go purchase the pre-order. Thank y'all very much for supporting the sister's book pre-orders. The Iris Papers is going to be out there soon. And you could also book a service with her iridology. She's a teacher. She's a spiritual guide. She's very good at what she does. And big up to my son, another young man doing what he got to do with his studio. He got Green Studio NYC podcasting. You can help you with recording, audiobook, artist development, event production, building your own music and your own beats. He can help you with that, mixing and all of that. My son can help you with that all the time, showing him love, and all my other children. Whoever comes out with a business, I always support them. I got no problems with my children coming out with their own business, and look out for more of them to come out and do what they got to do. As I am phasing to another level, they are also phasing to another level, just like your children, just like myself. Remember what Dr. B says, I forgive myself, my family, and others for imperfection, and I am thankful for my life. Remember what Dr. Blair used to say, please, Universal Creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth in your love now. Family, support the channel. Simon says, circulate to the channel through PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, Chime, Cash App, and get my products through my link tree. That's what we do. That's how we do. That's why we do. And thank y'all very much for tuning into today's Consciousness in the Conscious Community. And I want to thank the one, the only Tassili Ma'at for coming up, the legendary Tassili Ma'at. Remember, family, I love you because I love me. Stay in love with yourself and then shine your love to other people. Peace and love. Take care. Today's consciousness, today's consciousness, today's consciousness. What happened and how can we change it? From the pristine position that we held in today's consciousness, here's a new show just for you every Tuesday called Today's Consciousness. Be there and enjoy all the great special guest stars that will be passing through on a new show called Today's Consciousness. Today's Consciousness. Today's Consciousness. Are you ready to address all the things that are going on? And how can we heal today's consciousness? Today's consciousness. Today's consciousness. Right here on KSP TV. Today's consciousness. What happened and how can we change it? It's the numerational session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. And get my books on Amazon now. It's about guiding people. The only way you can make the world better is if you make the people better. So it's about showing them the light of hope in themselves and their family. Everything in this universe is all about synchronicity.
Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numeration from the king. Learn the foundation from the king. Nana Pushe. 1 + 1 is 2. Be precise. 3 + 2 is 5. Guard your mind. Me plus you is mathematician. Learn from the one numerator. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Innovation from a king, the foundation from the king. Numbers are simple, no people are complicated. Numeration from a king, the foundation from the king.
No, it's not about reading. It's about guiding. I don't do readings. I do consultations because you should know yourself. As good as the back of your hand, you should know yourself. I want everyone out there to be clear that this is to serve you like a GPS serves you. Remember, each of us has guaranteed ourselves success. Be that magi, family. Be that magician. Be that numerovational motivated force.